One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a Buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer. Big stock, deep face, Buccaneer. Feel go good with the Buccaneer. Want me shoot a cannon like a Buccaneer. Buccaneer, Buccaneer, Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a Buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer. Big stock, deep face, Buccaneer. Feel go good with the Buccaneer. Want me shoot a cannon like a Buccaneer. Hello? Touchdown, but just scored. Who said Brady want to go? We don't like to talk, we show. Go to war with all my bros. Tailgate looking real swole. This ain't kinda we pros. Go bust, go bust, go. Nah, we don't wanna fight. Hit your heart like Mike, call them Devin White. Sue just got a psych on the quarterback. 13, 14 on the left and the right. Going deep, big catches, it's a hell of a night. Per return, kick return, ain't no running the bike.
Great morning, great morning, great morning. It's a Victory Monday today if you're in Tampa Bay. Shouts out to all the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans out there. We are experiencing a high in Tampa simply because our teams have given us thrills. The Lightning win the Stanley Cup. The Rays make it to the World Series championship. And now our Bucs have an opportunity to play in a Super Bowl. We go down to New Orleans, beat the New Orleans Saints. Daryl, I've been getting text messages from all my Saints fans in Louisiana. They flipping me off. They crying. They crying. The Aints. I love Louisiana. I love the Saints. All right, but it just feels good when the Buccaneers get the best of the Saints, and that hasn't happened for a very long time. 4 years, 3 or 4 years, the Saints have had our number, and twice this year, Drew Brees dominates Tom Brady, and when we needed him the most, Darryl, Tom Brady came through in a major way. And it was a long night for me because I do the pre- and post-game show. So after late games, I got to stay on radio for 2-3 hours and do the post-game show. So I didn't get home till 2 o'clock in the morning and kind of had to focus and get my druthers under me this morning to come share with you. You're listening to Mic'd Up on Monday mornings, and I'm excited simply because today we celebrate. We celebrate. And we never knew that we would be here in terms, and I'm talking about the Bucs now. We never knew that we would be here having Tom Brady here for the first year, that he would have this type of success so early in his tenure with the Bucs. And it's been a thrill. There, I know you watch the Bucs, and it seems like every week you're excited to gain some info. What are some of the things that you saw yesterday that kind of intrigued you and maybe inspiring you to believe that the Bucs can go on and possibly make it to the Super Bowl?
You know, that's a really good question, Mike. I can tell you this. I had some air conditioning repair guys at my house the other day, and we were discussing the game. And I told them, I said, listen, man, if the Bucs can get, if the defense can get 2 interceptions and at least 1 pick six, they'll win the game. I said the defense is going to win the game.
You're not going to lose too many games getting them kind of stats.
So you know, when I saw how well the defense played, it was just exciting to watch the whole game come together, offense and defense.
Yeah. Well, one of my main talking points in the pregame show was that I believe that the Bucs needed to play outside of themselves. I kept saying that they needed to do something that they've never done before and just play extraordinary, simply because the Saints are better on paper. They have a better offensive line. We were having guys fill in. Aaron Stinney from James Madison College making his first start in the NFL in the playoff game was very big for the Bucs. Didn't know how he would perform, but I just believe that the game would have came down to a defensive game. And I love it when you say these type of things and it actually pans out just how you say it.
Yeah,
Remind you that you know a little bit of what you're talking about, that it was going to be a defensive battle. and it was going to come down to which offensive line did the best. And we got our running game started, which in the past we haven't been able to be consistent running the football.
Yes.
And I believe that if we had averaged over 5 yards a carry, that would be enough for us to operate our offense in its entirety. And we did that yesterday with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones in tandem, in combination. So we're moving forward. We got a tough challenge ahead.
We got a tough one, man.
Do you believe that, we can do it? You believe we can go to Lambeau and beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers?
Well, I've heard some coaches will go and practice in the atmosphere that they're going to be playing in, and I think it might be a good idea for us to get up there early, get acclimated to the weather, practice in that weather, so that we can have what it takes, because it's going to take some intestinal fortitude to handle 24 degrees.
And it might feel a little colder than that. When you standing still on the sideline and not moving around, it gets a little cold. It goes to the bone.
It goes to the bone.
All right. And I'm familiar with those cold weather games. When I was released from the Bucs and my journey took me to New York, it was eye-opening. Because I'm from Louisiana. Some days are really cold in Louisiana. Then the next day is really, really hot.
You get some winters in there.
But it's a different type of cold in New York. That cold is a different type. And, you got it, like you say, you got to get used to it. And you got to have that mental fortitude to persevere through that. But the good thing is this. The most important position on the football field is the quarterback position. How you throw it, how you see it. Can you relax? Will you let the weather get to you? Can you orchestrate your offense? Tom Brady is used to that weather.
He is.
He's done it. He's been there and done that. Everybody else, receivers, running backs, you kind of get used. You conform. You got to find your way and get comfortable and warm up in those things. I believe that everybody's on the same page. But the quarterback having to throw the football, receive the snaps, deal with the transitions and handing the ball off and those things. I worry about quarterbacks, but I don't worry about Tom Brady simply because he's done it for 20-plus years in New England, and he's played in many of those types of weathers where he can throw the football, he can do it all, it won't bother him. So I feel comfortable about that. Okay. Yeah. But, I really believe we got a good shot. And, today, when I'm going through my notes trying to figure out, what it is I wanted to share, and I kind of thought about, my Super Bowl run and how it all planned out. And through my journey, it has been a combination of life lessons that I was able to embody and learn and adapt or kind of just soak in and utilize those antidotes, so to speak, to kind of weather the storm and achieve success in my life. And today, something that was on my heart was to kind of give you some tips, what I learned from going through that journey. And I call it 7 P's to prosperity. And I think we all set out to accomplish things in life. We want to be successful. We want to win. We want to do well. We want to receive favor. And a lot of times those things come by what you do and how you carry yourself. Things just don't happen for most people. Some people, they do. Some people are blessed with the means and wealth to that things just fall into their lap. Some people have that type of favor where things just fall into your lap. And then others have to put in the work. Or should I say, most people, you got to put in the work. And a lot of times it takes self-evaluation. And I've been through these things in my life, and being able to play football and make it to the top, the pinnacle of success, and winning a Super Bowl, and once upon a time being a national championship, making it to the national championship in college, I learned a few things along the way, valuable things that I'll be discussing later on in the show. We're calling it the 7 P's to Prosperity. I tell y'all that I like to give you a visual presentation, and I've kind of mapped out a picture for you to paint so that this message can resonate, and it will be something that you can remember, something that you can tap into, rely on to help push you towards your goal of becoming successful. So many different messages. The platform is usually Michael's Mess, which I tell you a story about something that happened to me. And sometimes we are a little bit diverse in how we present the format. And then we give Michael's Message, which the main focus of today will be the message. And then we'll have a special guest, which I got the boss man in the saddle with me. And we're going to chop it up a little bit and talk in detail about some of the things. I call them the nuggets. Some of the nuggets I'm going to try to feed you with this morning. You're mic'd up on Monday morning with Michael Clayton. Is it time for a quick little break? We're going to take a quick little break. Y'all hang in there with me. When we come back, we'll be discussing the 7 P's to prosperity.
Buccaneer, Buccaneer, Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a Buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer. Big stock, deep face Buccaneer. Feel go good with the Buccaneer. Want me shoot a cannon like a Buccaneer. Buccaneer, Buccaneer, Buccaneer.
This brutal weather that we experience every year in Florida leaves hundreds of residents needing repairs to their property. If your home has been damaged or needs remodeling, leave it to the professionals. Call Reeves Building, Plumbing, and Roofing at 813-238-6197. That's 813-238-6197. Reeves Building, Plumbing, and Roofing have been serving the community for 43 years. Reeves Building, Plumbing, and Roofing is a proud sponsor of Jazz at Miss Connie's house.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Hello, I'm Rob Perry with Solar Energy Loan Fund, and we can help you finance your energy needs. If you need a new air conditioner, roof, solar panels, windows, doors, weatherization, having plumbing issues, the Solar and Energy Loan Fund can help you with that. Even if your credit isn't the best, we will be able to help you replace that old air conditioner or get that roof replaced. Again, my name is Rob Perry. I'm with Solar Energy Loan Fund. I can be reached at 727-315-3223. Again, that's 727-315-3223. Looking to hear from you.
Buccaneer, Buccaneer, Buccaneer. One eye patch like a Buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a Buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a Buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a Buccaneer. Big stock, deep face.
Great morning, great morning.
Good with the Buccaneer.
You're tuned in to Mic'd Up on Monday Morning with yours truly, Michael Clayton. Today's message is the 7 P's to prosperity. I've learned so much in my journey through life. Being a father of 5, being married for 14 years, playing in the National Football League, owning and operating businesses, investing, working. All of these things that I've done in my life have taught me very valuable lessons of how to prosper, how you treat your kids, how you treat your wife and your relationship in order to prosper in your relationships, how to treat people on the job and how to work with people and how to lead people on football teams. So many valuable lessons I've learned. And I want to do my best to attempt to share those things with you in a way that you could remember, utilize these things, and reflect on them. So if you could grab a pen and a piece of paper, you know, play with me, come along with me for this ride. When I do these types of things, I like to give a visual presentation. And when I was coming up with this concept of what I was going to talk about today, I envisioned a picture. And what I want you to do, grab your pen and your pad, and what I want you to do is I want you to really small on a piece of paper, really small. I'll show my camera here if you're tuning in. And I can't draw, and Daryl had already said he can't draw. But I want you to draw a stick body, a person. I want you to attempt to draw a vehicle. Now, my vehicle looked like a minivan right there. Now, I got 5 kids, so look, my vehicle is a minivan. But whatever you're driving, attempt to draw that vehicle. And then I want you to draw a little windy road that goes up and down. And at the end of that road, I want you to put a little treasure box. That's our treasure box. So you got a stick person, you got a vehicle, you got a road, and you got a treasure box. And the title of today's message is 7 P's to Prosperity. And when I was thinking about these things, I envisioned this picture. And this picture kind of explains what I'm going to talk about. Now, in the first thing we're going to talk about is this person. And in sequence, write that down: a stick picture, a vehicle, a road, and a treasure box. And we'll start our 7 P's off with that stick person. I've learned that in life, you have to make things personal. That's the first P. It's about the person. How you reflect on yourself, making sure that you are trying to find your weaknesses. We've talked about these things on a previous episode of The Map. Your mentality, your attitude, and your preparation. Having the mental disposition to face your fears, overcome adversity, go over and beyond. All of these things we've talked about, and all of these things should be a focus of every single person if you plan to achieve greatness, or should we say in this instance today, prosperity. Because we as individuals, we should never be content. We should never be content with who we are if we want the best. If we're satisfied with where we are, then be content. But if you want everything that life has to offer you, then you can't be content. You always have to strive to do better. And then at some point in your life, you know, when you get older, you can relax when you retire, and you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. But if you go through life thinking that you know it all, thinking that, you know, you got it all together, there are going to be some things that slip through the cracks. And so the first and foremost thing that, you know, first off the bat, it's about the person, recognizing that you yourself need work. There are friends in your life that you need to communicate with. There are certain people that you need to have in your corner to hold you accountable. The person is the first P to prosperity that you must pay attention to, and you have to invest time in yourself. To make yourself smarter, you got to read. If you want to know about business, you got to educate yourself. If you don't know what to do, then you got to figure out a solution. You have to want to win in life, and it takes you to focus on yourself, your mental disposition. If you don't do these things, it's like in the weight room. If you go to the weight room 7 times a week, and in those 7 times a week, you only work out for 7 minutes. If you do that for a full 6 months, do you think that the outcome will be the same if you go in a weight room 7 days a week and you work out for 2 hours in comparison to a 7-minute workout a day? It's the same thing with the mentality and with your soul and with your being. You have to work on yourself if you want to get better continuously. It never stops. It never stops. And if you want to prosper in life, you know these things, you adapt these things, and you always find ways to critique yourself, to hold yourself accountable, and make yourself better. The first P to prosperity is the person. First and foremost, you got to be selfish sometimes. All right. You got to be selfish sometimes. You got to take care of yourself. You got to look out for yourself, and you got to do for yourself, because a lot of people want other people to do things for you, but you got to kind of develop that mentality that, hey, I want to get out and I want to earn it. Though we may need some help along the way, you got to have the mentality that you can do it on your own. You got to have that energy. All right, moving forward. The second P, 7 P's the prosperity. The first P is the person. The second P is this vehicle. And I'm calling this vehicle your purpose. This is your purpose in life. And this picture was drawn simply because I want you to envision this person having to get in this vehicle, having to drive on this road to get to this treasure box. And the only way for this person to get through that treasure box when you're looking at this picture is if he gets inside the purpose. The vehicle is the purpose. You have to find your purpose in life to get to your prosperity. Now, there are many different ways to reach prosperity, but the best way, the most fulfilling, which, and I'm speaking from my experiences, and my experiences doesn't mean that it's your experience, but what I've learned is when you are operating in your purpose, in your vehicle, when you operate, that's when you're the happiest. That's when it feels like things are going right. And in my opinion, that's kind of like God's bubble of protection, giving it to you to say, hey, this is what you need to walk in. You need to operate in this bubble. Everything that I'm asking you to do, you need to operate in this purpose that I'm giving to you, because this purpose is headed to where you want to go. Now, a lot of times that purpose may take you down some dark roads, which is why you got to focus on the person and you got to prepare yourself mentally. But I want you to focus on the purpose, all right? At one point in my life, I thought football was my purpose in life. And a lot of times we think that. We think that what we're doing in life is our purpose in life. And I came to the realization that purpose lasts forever. It doesn't stop. So anything that has an end point can't be your purpose in life. It just may be a stepping stone for you to fulfill your purpose in life. So it's very important that we don't adapt our identity in the things that we do. We can't form our identity based upon what we do. I learned this because when I was playing football and I thought my purpose in life was to play football, when football was going good, I was happy. When football was going bad, I was mad and depressed. What type of life is that if I'm fluctuating based upon a game? So then I had to realize that, football wasn't my purpose in life, but it opened a door for me to fulfill my purpose in life. So I tell people, purpose is not your platform. Purpose is what you do with your platform. Your purpose in life is not your platform. It's what you are doing with your platform where you will find your purpose. Because what you can do with your platform goes beyond that platform. And I just feel like that is what operating in purpose is all about. Finding the identity in the one thing that's constant. To some people, that may be your faith. To some people, that might be something else. But the important thing is finding that identity in that thing that is constant, that is never changing. And when you can operate in purpose, then you will find your very, very best joy. Now, pay attention to this vehicle, because there are a few things in the vehicle, and the reason why I draw this picture so that you can remember. In order for the vehicle to move forward, now the person has got to get in this vehicle and has got to drive. This vehicle can't do nothing unless a person get into it. So you can have a bubble of success, a bubble of greatness. You can have a path to prosperity sitting there waiting on you to get in it, drive it, and accomplish it. And if you never get in your purpose, you'll never receive this blessing. But the purpose in life requires the person to get in it and drive it. Now, there are a few things that are required in a vehicle. I want you to draw a little gas tank. A little gas tank on the vehicle. Now, you can't drive a vehicle without gas. My third P, I like to call it the gas, but I call it the passion. You got your person, you got your vehicle. Now you got to put gas in your vehicle, and I call that gas your passion. When you putting your passion into your purpose, great things are going to happen. It may not happen overnight. It may not happen when you want it to. But if you can adopt a certain amount of passion in the thing that is driving you to be your very best self, which I like to call it your purpose, great things are going to happen. Great things are going to happen. The gas is the passion. And I like to say, man, like when I get up in the morning, I wake up, I read my word. I gotta give myself a speech in the morning so that I wake up with the right energy. All right, that's my passion. That's my juice, baby, and it's required if you want to have success. What we looking like on our
2 minutes?
When you have an opportunity to feed yourself with passion and feed your purpose with passion, do that. It's the one constant thing that keeps you rolling when things come to a halt, when you hit a roadblock, when you hit a stumbling block. When you putting passion in, when you putting your gas in, that is going to allow you to get some more miles. Now, the question is, what type of gas are you putting in your gas tank? You putting that 87 gas? You putting that cheap watered down gas in your gas tank? All right? Or are you putting that high octane? All right? That expensive stuff. That gas that keep you running a long time. All right? That don't burn off easy. What is it? What type of gas are you putting? What type of music are you listening to? What type of books are you watching? What type of movies are you watching? Books are you reading? Friends are you having? What type of gas are you putting in your gas tank? It's important to put the very best gas. That's your passion. Put your best in yourself so that you can get the very best. That's the person. That's the person. And that's the passion. When we come back, we got 4 more P's before we get to our prosperity. We're going to go over it. Stay tuned. You're mic'd up on Monday mornings with Michael Clayton.
One eye patch like a buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a buccaneer. Bloodshot on me like a buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause a buccaneer. Big stock deep face.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
It's politics. It's life. It's the Life Malcolm Show every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on In Touch Radio.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown. 1-800-361-RICK. That's 1-800-361-7425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Great morning. We're still here. You're mic'd up on Monday mornings with yours truly, Michael Clayton, as we get into the message today. 7 P's to prosperity. Things that you can adapt, that you can apply to your life so that it can help you reach success and prosperity. We call it the 7 P's to prosperity. If you're just tuning in, the first 3 P's that we just went over are the person. And if you're just tuning in, grab a piece of paper, give us a stick figure, or draw a stick figure on a piece of paper. Make an attempt to draw a vehicle. I drew a minivan. Whatever you driving in, draw that. Draw a road, and then at the end, a windy road that goes up and down, and then at the end of that road, draw a treasure box. Now, we went into the purpose. That vehicle that you're drawing, that's your purpose. We've drawn a gas tank. That represents our passion. We want to make sure that we put in the very best gas in our purpose. That passion is the gas. As we continue, the 4th P in the 7 P's to prosperity, I want you to take the vehicle and I want you to draw a steering wheel. Draw a steering wheel, because every vehicle has to have a steering wheel to keep it in line, to keep it on track. And that steering wheel in the purpose in that vehicle represents the principles. You have to operate your life based on principles. Sometimes it is very tough to do, but in the end, if you operate in principles, good principles, depending on who you are, those things might be godly principles. I know that's how I try to live my life, under godly principles, so that I may find favor in both God and man. That's what the word says. So that steering wheel represents the principles. I remember when I got fired from the Bucks, and I'm playing in Omaha, Nebraska, and Jerry Reese, the GM for the New York Football Giants, calls me in Omaha, Nebraska, and he says, Mike, I want to give you an opportunity to come back into the NFL. I need you to leave your team. I know you got 1 more week left. I need you to leave your team. I need you to fly to New York, and I need you to give me this workout so that we can sign you and you can become a New York Football Giant. Now, everything in me wanted to go get that paycheck, wanted to go get that money. Everything in me, like the me in me, okay, was only seeing what was on the surface. But the person that was in me, greater is the man that is in you than he that is in the world. The person that was in me said to my outside me, wait a minute, Mike. Don't finish what you start, is what the inner me said. And I was going through a spiritual journey where I just decided to remove my wants out of the way, and I'm only going to do what God asked me to do. And I was going through this journey in my life, and here it is, I'm faced with leaving a team, going back into the NFL. That's what I wanted to do. Or should I listen to that inner me that was saying, finish what you start? You got one more game in the UFL to play. You better tell the NFL they need to wait or you won't be there. And I'm thinking, I'm talking to my enemy like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Shut up, enemy. Be quiet. I ain't doing that. But I made a commitment to be obedient. And at the time I was young and I'm so glad I was young and dumb. All right? I was young and dumb for God. I didn't care what the outcome would be. I was going to be obedient. So I told Jerry Reese, I said, Jerry, I got one more $300 check to get. I got to play one more game. My spirit is telling me I need to finish what I start. I made a commitment to this team, and I have one more week to play in the UFL. If you have an opportunity for me next week, I will gladly be there. I stood on principles. I stood on what my daddy used to tell me, finish what you start, son. Always be a man of your word and finish what you start. Always what my daddy used to tell me. So I had to tell Jerry Reese the same thing. It didn't matter what I wanted to do. It didn't matter the luxuries that would present itself because simply I wanted what was best for me. And what was best for me was operating in purpose, being obedient to God, and standing on principles. It didn't look like it, but in the end it was. Because when I told Jerry Reese that I wasn't coming, he saw my character. And he said, okay, I respect that. And the next week, look how God worked. And I'm not saying this is how God works, but this is how things planned out. Dominique Hickson, who was the receiver for the New York Giants, unfortunately, that week that I decided to stay in the UFL, he played. He went out with a knee injury, injured his knee for the rest of the season, torn ACL. And who was next on the list? The guy with character. Jerry Reese called me back and said, hey, baby, I gave you your week. It's time to roll. We're bringing you back to the New York Giants, and we're bringing you back because we love your character. They kept me for 2 years. I was embraced in that organization like none other, and I won a Super Bowl. Now, just think if I just would have left and was not standing on principles and just left my team and walked out on them and went to train in New York, Dominique Hickson still would have been healthy. They wouldn't have signed me. He would have been healthy. All I needed to do was wait 1 week. And operating in principles gave me an opportunity to do just that. There's another story I like to tell when I say operating in principles, and I like to place emphasis on God's principles. I'm walking in the mall one time, and I had just became an author. I wrote a book called Chasing My Rookie Year. And I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I played at LSU, so I'm well known in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I'm walking, and a security guard is following me. And I'm like, I'm in Louisiana, and we grew up, highly racial tensions, and, you know the stigma when a black man is being followed like he about to steal something. I'm in the mall of Baton Rouge. I'm in the so to speak, the good mall. And I'm being followed by this Caucasian guy. And I'm like, this dude don't even know who I am. I'm all prideful. I'm poking my chest out like this dude really think I'm about to steal something. And he just following me and following me and following me. And before I knew it, I'm turning around. I'm like, dude. I'm like, what's up? I'm hot. I'm popping off at the guy. And something in me said, hey, chill out. Don't do that. The enemy was like, hey, calm yourself. But I was still hot. I'm like, dude, I'm like, what's up? Why you follow me? He was like, you Michael Clayton? I was like, yeah. He's like, I just bought your book. Can you sign it for me? And here I am finna just pop off at the dude for following me. And he simply just want to get a little autograph from a book that I had just wrote. Now the enemy was like, hey, you better shut your mouth. Now the me was ready to pop off. But the principles in me, that enemy was like, it protected me from an embarrassing situation. So a lot of times if you live your life on principles and you have a keen ear to listen to those principles and operate in those principles, it will protect you from yourself because we're not perfect. So you have to apply these things simply because we need barriers to protect us from ourselves. And when you operate in principles, it may not look and it may not feel like it's the best thing, but in the end, I can promise you this, it has never steered me wrong. And I'm very fortunate and I live a blessed life because I've learned to operate my life in principles. How do you learn how to operate your life in principles? You take notice when you're not operating in principles. And you remember the negative things that happen. And let me tell you, baby, I got a lot of bad stories of things that I got myself into, not carrying myself in principles. It's helped me in my marriage. I know how to carry myself. I can walk into any establishment. I can talk to any female in this city. I can walk in a room with my wife because I know that I've lived my life according to principles and I ain't got nothing to be worried about. I leave my phone open. Man, Daryl, the best feeling in the world is to leave your phone unlocked so that your lovely wife can go through it. Baby, go on through that phone if you want to.
Look at it, whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
Here it is. You want to use my phone?
Answer that, baby.
I like that.
Answer that.
It's a good feeling.
It's a great feeling. I'm never getting out of that feeling. I used to be young and dumb. Once upon a time, back when I was a young man. Never again.
Never again.
I operate in principles. We operate in principles. It will protect you from yourself. Moving forward, so we got our person. We want to pay attention to our person. Feed yourself, your mentality, your attitude, your preparation, facing your fears, going over and beyond, doing all of these things in the person. All right, finding your purpose in life, your vehicle, so that you can get to your destination and operating. Envision this person getting inside of this vehicle and about to go on this journey. Now, before you go on this journey, the next P, the fifth P is your power. And I like to take a little, on my vehicle, I like to draw a little engine on the hood with a little fire coming out, a little fire. It's ugly. It's ugly. But what kind of power do you have? All right? It look ugly, I know, but do the best you can. Just I drew a little box with some fire coming up off the hood of my minivan. All right? But that's your power. All right? You got to find what empowers you. What type of engine do you have in your vehicle? What type of engine are you putting in your purpose? Are you putting and you operate in a V6? You got a V6 engine in that minivan? What you got, that Volvo? You got a Acura? What you got? What kind of, you got a Civic? What you got? It don't matter what you got. It don't matter what you got. It's what you need, baby. You want to put a V12 in there. You want that power to be strong. Now I ask you, what empowers you? What empowers you? When we talk about the person and we're talking about facing your fears, there is a power that you have to embody in order to face your fears. What gives you that power to stand up to your nemesis, to stand up to the very thing that you're afraid of or timid towards? What gives you that power to have the confidence that you will be okay when adversity hits? What gives you that power? You have to find that out, what works for you. I can tell you what works for me, but that's for me. Now, if you want to adapt the things that I do, go right ahead alone. That's why I'm here on Monday morning, to give you a few pointers. But if you don't want to do what I do, then you need to figure out what empowers you. And when we come back, we're going to finish off the message with the rest of the P's, all right? But we're talking about your power when we return. Stay tuned.
You ain't a buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause I'm buccaneer. Big start, deep face buccaneer. Feel go good with the buccaneer.
You've been injured. You deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
In Touch Radio, the most loved station across the nation. In Touch Radio. Tell a friend. In Touch Radio.
We still here. We still here. As we come into a close in our last segment, anybody want to call in, that number is 813-444-9588. If it's not on your screen, that number again, 813-444-9588. The topic of discussion today is the 7 P's to prosperity. We've been over the person, focusing on the person and all of those things that make you a better person. Finding your purpose in life, that vehicle. All right, making sure that your vehicle has the right type of gas, the right type of passion. All right, making sure that that vehicle, that you're holding on to a steering wheel in that vehicle, which is your principles, keeping you on the right path. And we just went over the power. What type of what type of thing grants you and gives you power? What type of power do you have in your vehicle? Do you have a V6 engine? Do you have a V12 engine? What gives you the power to face adversity, to have confidence when things are not going good, to weather the storm? What gives you that power? And I alluded to, I know what gives me power. My faith gives me power. I know when I live my life a certain way that's pleasing to God by his commands, servicing others, loving others, doing for others, filling in the gap, showing people God's love. I know when I operate like that, then I'm going to be okay. God is going to look out for me. He's never let me down. I will never change. I'm 38 years old. I've never wanted for anything. I've had to work my butt off for everything. But God has always provided for me. So I feel very, very protected in that space, operating in the power that he gives me when I study and I read and I know how to carry myself. That is my power. The music that I listen to Christian rap. Now I got kids, 19, 14, 12, and I wish I did a better job, but they listen to the same type of music I used to listen to when I'm growing up. The only difference is I tell them, hey, you need to put your headphones on. You ain't listening to that in my car. Sound like somebody's old grandpa. And I'm 38 years old, and I love it simply because it may not register to them now what I'm doing, not tolerating the very music that I used to love listening to, okay? Making sure that my kids see me live my life according to the standard of which I talk about. So I can't be caught slipping. Now, yeah, we have our moments. We listen to music that don't have all of that filth and stuff in it, and we have a good time, and I make TikToks with my kids, and, I enjoy fun moments, yes. But on a day-to-day basis, there's a certain way that I carry myself where I don't tolerate things simply because I want to be protected in my life, and I want my kids to be protected, and I want my prayers to be answered. So therefore, I got to make the sacrifice of denying myself certain worldly things so that I get the true desire of my heart. And that's what I'm here to talk about, the blessings that God has given me and give you access to the same things that I've experienced through a testimony, in hopes that you learn these things and utilize them to better your own life. But the P, the power, what type of engine do you have? We want to make sure that we're operating in the power that allows us to withstand and survive. And I've learned that power, there's only the one power that I've recognized is that power that comes from God. That's the power I operate in. So I encourage you to tap into that power. The next P, as we wrap this up real quick, is the plan. You got your person, you got your vehicle, you got your windy road. But before you get on that windy road, when you get in that vehicle and you about to go on a trip, Darryl, what's the first thing you going to do when you don't know where you going?
I'm going to put in my GPS.
You
here.
going to put it in that GPS. Oh, yeah. So the next P is you got the plan. You got to have a plan for your success. If you're thinking you're going to be a millionaire and you have no plan, you just doing whatever, the chances are you being a millionaire are very unlikely. If you want to have a successful business and you don't have a plan, a lot of times a business plan, a formal business plan, so people can invest in you and help you out, can see your dream and say, oh, you know what, I want to invest in that. You need a plan. If you don't have a formal business plan, you at least need to write something down so that you can plan. So when you are faced with adversity, you've already thought about how you will navigate these things and how you will execute. In a football game, you will not win if you don't game plan. You have to study your opponent, and you have to have foresight. When they play this coverage, we plan to do this. We're going to go up to the line of scrimmage with 3 plays, and whatever coverage they give us, we're going to call this play so that we can have the best chance to have success. We're going to plan. You got to have a plan. Moving on really quick, we got 5 minutes left, is the path. Paying attention to the path. And I made a windy road simply because everybody's path is different. Some people's path is straight to prosperity. Some people's path is a windy road to prosperity. There's some ups and downs. But accept your path and don't worry about nobody else's path. Your path was designed for you simply to make sure that once you reach your prosperity, you're prepared to keep it. Because sometimes you got to go down to learn a few things. I didn't have humility, full humility, until I was fired from the NFL. And I had to go down to the UFL, and I learned a very valuable lesson: to appreciate all things. How to humble yourself. How to stand on principles. I learned a lot of things in those down moments. And when God brought me back up, man, I was able to stay on the New York Giants team for 2 years. I caught 2 passes in 2 years, Darryl. Picture that. 2, just 2. Go ahead and talk about me. Made $1 million, caught 2 passes, and was beloved by the New York Football Giants. That's all right, baby. My path was very different, but I embraced my journey. I learned all of the lessons along the way, and when God brought me to that prosperity, I was not only ready to cash in, but I was also ready to keep it. Put a little bit in the bank. That's what it's all about. Making sure that you embrace your path. Don't be mad because you reach stumbling blocks. Don't be mad when problems come. Don't be mad when fear arises. Those are opportunities for you. I said on a few episodes before, fear, on the other side of fear is success. You got to face your fears. In order for you to get the desires of your heart, a lot of times that stumbling block is fear. But what have you done for yourself to make sure that you are empowered to stand up to fear?
Quick question.
Yes.
How did it feel when you played in the Super Bowl?
It was the best feeling in the world, in comparison to the national championship. One of the best feelings, because playing in the national championship in the Superdome was hands down my best experience. But to be able to finally be there, the greatest thing about that journey, Darryl, was I was a part of kind of the spiritual growth team for the team. And I had been telling them all year that this is the year to breakthrough, that this is the year we're going to win a Super Bowl from week 4. And we started off with just 4 guys in a players-only meeting. Halfway through the season, we had half the team. At the end of the season, we had the whole team, including some coaches, in our players-only meeting. And that was the message all year, that this is the year we're going to win a Super Bowl. And that's what God put on my heart to tell my team. So I told them, this is how we got to act. This is how we got to carry ourselves. We got to hold each other accountable. We got to go to, if we go to the club and go to the bar, we got to go with each other. We got to make sure nobody get in trouble. Got to make sure we leave early. We got to be better fathers, be better husbands, be better teammates. We got to do all of these things. And then to end up in the Super Bowl after that long journey and all of those messages, to win it, to have my teammates hoist me up. Mike, you've been telling us all year. That was, I didn't play in the game because I was injured, but to be a part of it in that way, to not be on the team, I was on the team, but to not be in uniform, but still embraced by my teammates in uniform was very special to me.
Did you apply the 7 Ps on that path?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I can speak about it confidently and know that these things work. These things work if you want to reach prosperity. Listen, you got to focus on yourself. A quick recap before we close out. You got to focus on yourself, on the person, your mentality, your attitude, and your preparation, and other things. You got to find your purpose in life. In that purpose, you got to apply your passion. You got to have principles, all right? And you got to tap into a power. I like to say that's the godly power, but you got to choose what you operate, what type of power you operate in. And then you got to develop your plan. You got to develop your plan, because once you get on that journey down your path to reach prosperity, if you're not planning to meet roadblocks and to get over those roadblocks, you will fall on your face. But if you get back up, all right, it's all good, baby. Keep pushing. Your journey is your journey. Your path is your path. And if you apply these things, once you reach prosperity, you will learn all of the lessons that you will need to know to keep your prosperity, and not only keep your prosperity, but to give your testimony to somebody else so that somebody else may experience prosperity as well. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is the Michael Clayton live show. We live, baby. Mic'd up on Monday mornings with yours truly, Michael Clayton, on the In Touch News Network. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will see you next Monday, boss man. Thank you for joining me today.
You ain't a buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause I'm buccaneer. Big start, deep face, buccaneer. Feel go good with the buccaneer. Want me shoot the cannon like a buccaneer. Buccaneer, buccaneer, buccaneer. One eye patch like a buccaneer. How you on the ship, you ain't a buccaneer. 12 shots on me like a buccaneer. Diamonds on me shining cause I'm buccaneer. Big start, deep face, buccaneer. Feel go good with the buccaneer. Want me shoot the cannon like a buccaneer. Hello? Touchdown, but just scored. Who said Brady want to go? We don't like to talk, we show. Go to war with all my bros. Tailgate, look